This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but today we got something different. It is episode 1 of Go Talk the podcast, and I can't take credit for the title. That's all LB. And let's be serious. If you don't know who he is, you've been living on a rock, but go ahead and introduce yourself for the one guy who just probably a Cowboy fan who just turned Eagle fan.
For the one hater in the building, it's like, no, yo, you know what it is, man. It's your boy Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you. You know what I'm saying? And this is Go Talk the podcast. Lord Brunson and Philly Mike. We going to collab to bring y'all something special every week, either on Friday or Saturday. And this is episode 1, and it is on my man's channel. And let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got to see NFL opening day yesterday, and it was a division rival. Look, they like to say that everybody wants to watch them. It could have been Jacksonville and the Texans, and I would have tuned in because we were dying for some football. Yeah. I just wanted to see something competitive, but we're about to see something competitive at 1:00 Eastern time in ATL. How do you feel? Just your general thoughts going into it with all the drama surrounding this team being lackluster.
Me right now, I feel good, man. I can't even lie, man. Like my general thoughts are this: that we're gonna get a sneak peek at, just the ceiling of Jalen Hurts. I'm excited to see Jalen Hurts play. I'm personally excited the most about seeing him and Devontae Smith's connection. I'm excited about our coaches. It seemed like at the right time, right before week 1, that everything is looking right. Nothing don't seem out of place. Ex-players giving our coaches high praise. Dudes coming off the injury. I mean, come on, dude. Brooks about to play. Everything seemed like it's fitting how it's supposed to fit, man. How you feel about it, though?
Hey, I agree. Like you said, what does Tony Romo owe to us? Adam Schefter, he reports about the whole league, but for them guys to give kudos, other than the national media who just want to be the first ones to say this, that, and the third, I'm going to take it. And again, there are unknowns, but if you do your due diligence into these unknowns, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. From the first speech where everybody wanted to fry Nick Sirianni, he came a long way. And you've seen it in training camp. You've seen it in the demeanor of these players. Wide receiver has been a bust all around for the Philadelphia Eagles in the wire.
Facts.
And we get Devontae Smith. Jalen Reagor looks stronger. Quez Watkins goes from the bottom. Now he's here. Like he started from the bottom. Now he's here. And this is all under the tutelage of Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, I gotta give. My bad. I'm saying I gotta give a lot of credit to Howie Roseman, though. I don't think I've done that during the course of the offseason. I feel like Howie Roseman definitely did what he was supposed to do in the draft. And if he had a hand in these hires, I mean, these guys are back to teaching old school fundamentals. Like Jonathan Gannon went dudes to get the ball. I ain't heard nobody say that in Philly in a minute, man. It's just all fitting together perfectly, man. I just can't wait to see how we manhandle the Atlanta Falcons, or whatever you want to call them. I can't wait.
Yeah. We owe the city of ATL something just for what they did to our Sixers as well. And yes, the last couple of times we traveled to ATL, we got beat. We're 0-3 in the last 3 vacations to ATL, and that got to stop. And that is going to be the biggest turning point. Now, right now, we're underdogs, right? ATL is supposed to beat us by 7, 10, 3. But as soon as we start putting foots in them, it's going to be the narrative that ATL is a 2-3 win team.
Exactly.
Who cares, right? That's exactly what it's going to be. But let's not sleep on our offense. Kyle Pitts, whether he's a rookie or not, he's highly touted. Calvin Ridley and them boys. So I don't want to hear no excuse. If the defense goes down there and pitches not a shutout, but something where they hold them under 20, that is kudos to JG and his defensive staff.
I agree. And I expect our defense to go down there and do something like that. Look at the veterans that we bringing back, Mike. We bringing back Super Bowl caliber players in the trenches. You're bringing back Fletcher Cox. You're bringing back Brandon Graham, who got one of the most important sacks in NFL history, the strip sack on Brady on the game-winning drive. You saw what Brady just did to Dallas on the game-winning drive, and then you seen what Brandon Graham did to Brady, you know what I mean, on the game-winning drive. It's different, man. We got a pedigree in the trenches. You know, we got to start talking about the disrespect, Mike. The disrespect.
Oh, yes.
How are we even underdogs? A serious question. They got a new head coach. They lost Julio Jones. They can't block our pass rush. Everybody knows that. They can't get to us without having the blitz. Who are these?
Hey, I agree. And I said on my video today, the only thing that they had that is a certain is you can say their quarterback and wide receiver combination, but everything else from their coaching staff to their D-line, their O-line, their running back, their secondary, they have more question marks. Point blank, period. We have the veterans where you need them to be. We got some veteran secondary. We got the veteran D-line and O-line. And like that's what I've been trying to say all season too. Even if you want to say Jalen Hurts is going to be up and down, if you want to say this, that, and third, when you are top 5 in the trenches, you're going to compete every single Sunday, no matter what, because that is where the good teams are built. And even if we have some problems outside, which I don't believe there are going to be problems, we're still going to compete because of that. Good teams have the trenches won, and we have that battle as long as we stay healthy.
I agree, man. I agree wholeheartedly, man. I just feel like that even though technically a lot of people want to say we did a retool or we doing a rebuild, why do it seem like we brung back more veterans than Atlanta? So I don't, you know what I mean? Jalen Hurts is not a rookie. He actually started a few games last year. You know what I mean? We got some key rookies that we want to get a lot of this week 1. But at the same time, I feel like, they're not putting the proper respect on our name. You're talking about a lot of all-pro guys in the trenches for the Philadelphia Eagles, period. You know what I mean? You're talking about other key players from other organizations that wanted to join a brand new coaching staff. Listen, man, I feel like, man, we might blow some folks out this year. I'm not saying Atlanta, but I feel really, really strong about the roster. And then, Mike, have you ever looked at the roster based upon the opposing quarterbacks we play? Come on. Darnold, Bridgewater? Come on. Who else? It's a bunch of dudes. I think we played 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Come on, man. I'm just not scared. You're going to have to show me this season. Show me we trash. Show me.
Exactly, because it's been in our DNA to turn things around quick. Whenever we do have a letdown season, we bounce back because of what Howie Roseman does. He doesn't get complacent. And I agree. Listen, I'm not saying Howie Roseman was perfect the last 5 years, the last 4 years after the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, as we talk about paying these players, what have you done for me lately? Right now, Howie Roseman has done a lot for us lately. Yeah. And we can't talk about 1920 anymore because it's over. And that regime is totally going with the appearance of the coaching staff and the roster. The roster still has some of the right veterans, but the wrong veterans are gone. And so the mastermind of getting a first round pick, getting Devontae Smith, changing that defense and all the necessary parts and being able to keep the young core on offense intact, meaning, you got Zach Ertz still and Dallas Goedert, you got to make a decision. I think Howie's did a tremendous job. But before we get into any more, shout out to Muhammad. He said, with the $5 super chat, LB Philly Mike, legend in the game. Appreciate what y'all do, man. And we got another one, Texas Eagle, rocking out in Texas. That's what I'm talking about. We need you watching. I know they were sad. If you went to the grocery store yesterday or today, they were sad. He said, is Wallace growing healthy? Who starts at safety? Go ahead, LB, on that one.
I think Kayvon Wallace is going to get the start. I looked at the injury report. I didn't even see him on there. He looked like he was full go. We all know Rodney McLeod ain't playing. So right now it's time for Kayvon Wallace, who I think actually been talking a little too much during his training camp. You know what I mean? It's time for him to go out there and show what he got. He went out there calling Cam Newton to check down King. Cam Newton dog walked our defense up and down the field in that preseason game, and he was out there for that. So Kayvon Wallace is who I want to start. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to see, man. We're going to see. I think it's Kayvon Wallace. He's going to get his number called, and he's going to be able to go out there. And he got to put some good film out, too, man. I'm not really impressed with him right now, but I don't think it's going to come down to the secondary, man. I think the defensive line going to run this, man. I do.
Yeah, I agree. And I would definitely like to see Kevon Wallace out there. I do think the Eagles, as a more safety precaution, are probably going to feature a Marcus Epps. I think Kevon will play, but a smaller package. Coming out of Clemson, I liked him as that box safety. I didn't
Yeah.
really like him in deep coverage and all that. Not saying he can't grow into it. He got the approval of Brian Dawkins. So anytime Brian Dawkins opened his mouth, I'm going to listen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Maybe it's because Clemson off Clemson, but you definitely got to see more out of him. He's been a big talker, and it hasn't really added up. He hasn't had abundance of opportunities, but he's going to get some now, especially if we do take our time with Ronnie, because he's important to the defense as well. But the D line is where we're going to win, like you said. That O line
Yeah,
is trash.
I will say this about Kayvon though. I think he got good energy though. I think he got good energy. It just got to translate onto the field. Definitely got to translate onto the field, man.
I agree.
Definitely. What you think? What you think, Mike? About So a lot of people are asking me this question. Yo, do you think we can go 3-0? Now, okay, first, of course, you got to get through, the Atlanta Falcons. Then you got to go and see San Fran. Dallas Cowboys. Gallup is down for a couple weeks. Layout, what's his name? Layout Collins. They always talk about he good and all of this. He out of here for 5 weeks. I'm starting to like our chances when week 3 come. I'm starting to like our chances against the Cowboys when week 3 come.
Yeah, why not? Like I said, look, I'm not gonna poo-poo on what Dak Prescott did solely because he came off that injury. But
Hmm.
watching the game play by play, he got away with a couple dropsies from the Tampa Bay secondary, and they were in shambles. They went into that game without their starting safety. Then one of their starting corners went out, and then their second string safety went out. Do you realize that the guy we cut, Philadelphia Eagles cut a guy in Andrew Adams,
And he was
and he
out
ran
there getting
and he was
meaningful minutes.
he was out there getting meaningful minutes. So let's be honest. If we were playing the Dallas Cowboys and we had to rely on Andrew Adams, we'd be nervous. And that's what Dak was dealing with in the second half.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for just looking upright more than what I thought. But this is the same Dallas team I've seen. In 2019, Dak Prescott put up 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Hmm.
Zeke had 1,500 yards. He's not going to have that this year, the way they're using them. And they had 3 1,000-yard receivers. Okay, so just because CD's name is more hotter when it comes to the trends, Randall Cobb had 1,000 yards. And
Yeah.
that equated to 8-8. It's their defense that got to show me something before I start taking the Dallas Cowboys serious. And they got the turnovers, but can they be consistent with that? Because when they weren't turning the ball over, Anthony Brown, Curse, they look like Swiss cheese out there.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree with that, man. I was impressed with Dak Prescott. A lot of people think I'm a Dak naysayer, but I'm gonna keep it all the way 100, man. I'm not gonna just jump on the Dak's. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna jump on the Dak thing. You pause. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna keep it a bean about what I really, really saw. I saw a guy that they curated a game plan for him to throw the ball short and quick and get it out of his hands. In the beginning of that game, it was no pressure getting put on Dak Prescott. They was playing a flawless game. Dak Prescott don't have a deep ball right now. That's another thing that I noticed. And they red zone offense and they red zone play calling is really, really bad. The closer they got to scoring, the worse the play calling got. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they took that L. They took that L. And this is and as hot as the Dallas Cowboys offense is, Mike, there's no way in the world we would be happy about feeling like we deserve a second place medal after losing in week 1. How they feel, that ain't flying in Philly. If you
Nah.
lose, come on, that ain't flying in Philly. If you lose, you lose.
Yeah. And it might fly if you are consider yourself a rebuilding team, but the way the Dallas Cowboys been talking, they got all their chips on the table. I mean, they
That's what I'm
paid their
saying.
quarterback. Their offensive line is as old as ours, if not older. They're not getting any younger in their spots that they feel comfortable in, and so they got to make moves now. I agree 100%. Dak Prescott is going to have to do that long term because he looked very good
Very
to
good.
start the season 2022, but in that process they were 1-3. So enough of the if hey, Cowboy fans, feel free to go get Dak as your fantasy quarterback. He's going to do work, but he's not going to get, it's not translating to W's. And I think it's partly because they get the yardage, but they're too one-dimensional. But I don't care. Let Mike
Yeah, let him
McCarthy
listen.
decide to
Listen.
pass that ball.
I know exactly how to play him, for real, for real. I know exactly how to play him. I know exactly how to play him. I think the Dallas Cowboys' true problem is that they're abandoning Ezekiel Elliott. When they win, Zeke is running the ball. And they're catching people sleeping with play action. It don't matter. Listen, what would you rather take? 400 passing yards, a lot of touchdowns, exciting plays, and a close loss? Or would you rather play a boring game and get the W? I think Jerry Jones rather have the exciting game for the ratings and the views and just take the loss. That's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. Um, that's what they've been preaching all off season, right? They've been talking about we are the most expensive team. We're the most popular team. I said, okay, I was on shout out to Jay Tuck. He's a cool dude, but he roots for the wrong team. But his whole argument to me is that we keep the lights on for the NFL when it comes to ratings. I said, that's okay, but what did the ratings get you in the last 20 years? What did the ratings get
Listen,
you
I mean, it
every
ain't.
single time? It's like, look, you could be the cool dude. I'll be the dude that's getting stuff done. You know what I mean? I don't care about
I mean, that's. I
popularity.
mean, but yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's not even false though. That's just major cap. It's like Tom Brady. This is Tom Brady's NFL. The
Yeah, it's
last
his
20
era.
years.
Yeah, it's been
No
his
matter,
era.
no matter. This is like his. What's longer than the era? It's like his reign. It's like it's like some crazy. It's just like
It's his world right now. Yeah,
right. It's been going on for 20 years, man. 20 years. Like nobody not worrying about the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys get a lot of those primetime games because they got a large fan base. That's cool. That's fine and dandy. But you're in the D class of the NFL for real. For real, if we being honest, you are the Lions. You are the Bengals. You are the Browns. These are teams that haven't been to an NFC Championship game in 25 years. The Dallas Cowboys are in that seat, in that driver's seat. And we're really the disrespect that I feel that I really hate is when people tell me the Philadelphia Eagles are irrelevant. People have been telling me this all week. How are we irrelevant? Before last year, we went to the playoffs 3 straight years. The Philadelphia Eagles, you know what I mean, have the most playoff wins in the NFC since 2000. That's relevance.
yeah.
I mean, let's talk about it. Are we talking about winning or are we talking about who got the best haircut in the class?
That's what
Stop
I'm
it.
saying, right? Yeah, relevancy
Stop
has
it.
to do with your winning. And so, like, the Dallas Cowboys at this point, they did not deserve to even be on the stage with the Bucks. You know what I mean? They should have played a more respectable team.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Dallas did their thing. They stayed into the game partly because of Buccaneers, really playing some bad football. But let's get to these super chats real quick. Shout out to Robert. He said, change the battery in the fire alarm, LB.
Oh, I'm gonna change it, man. I'm gonna change it, bro. I got you. I
Nah, it's
got you.
all good, yo. Mine be the same thing. If we were downstairs, you would hear
Listen,
the
listen,
same
my
thing.
man, my man, the King. I see him in the comment chants. The Seahawks fan. He's saying, "Do you eat the Browns are a good team? Do you even watch football?" Listen, I'm not saying the Browns not a good team. What I'm saying is the Browns have
Decade.
not been. Yeah, it's like how many AFC Championship games have the Browns? The Browns are irrelevant still. One good season don't erase that. You got to be doing what the Eagles did to be relevant. You know what I mean? Since
Yeah.
2002 Super Bowl, 7 NFC Championship appearances, multiple division crowns. Like the Browns don't got a body of work like that in their existence. So what are we talking
Consistency.
about? Yeah. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. If we're talking about who's good in 2020, 2021, yeah. But the Browns went in that long rebuild. They were
Yeah.
winless. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
You
The
can't.
Brown, the Brown, the Browns had had a fullback on the cover of Madden, Peyton Hillis. The Browns couldn't even get stars. They couldn't even draft stars correctly. Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to Texas Eagle with the $5 super chat. I wish they throw the ball 58 times on our defense. I agree 100%. That second,
Somebody
listen, the
talking about
pass rush will get there. Go
Somebody
ahead.
talking about LB is that Dare Park. I see negative. This Wegmans brand. This Wegmans. Y'all know I be in Wegmans. I don't drink no Dare Park.
They see, listen, I'm trying, I guarantee you the chat, as soon as you pick up a water bottle, they like pause, zoom in, and gotta
Right.
get them. I gotta get them. Raw Rap Radios with the $5 super chat. Dallas and Tampa Bay exposed a lot about each other, not scared of either one. How do you
No, don't.
feel?
Yeah.
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
how do you feel about the Bucks? Again, they were bad early in the
Mhm.
season too. I mean, they almost lost to the Falcons, they almost lost to the Carolina Panthers, they almost lost to the Giants, they did lose to the Bears. Do you think they're going to be dominant all season, or they're still going to be a team at the end of the season you don't really want to see?
They're going to be dominant all season. I mean, and just to point this out before I get into how I feel about the Bucks, it's very relevant that we talk about this because we play the Cowboys and the Bucks. I don't want to make it seem like we're just picking on two random teams here, but the Bucks going to be dominant all season. Anytime you turn the ball over 5 times and still win, and play sloppy and still win, and when it counts to most, you can reel it in on a game-winning drive. The Bucks going to be dominant all season, man. This is the Bucks' true problem, though. The Bucks don't know how to handle what just happened. They don't know how to handle that type of success. You know what I mean? It's been a very long time since they, won the Super Bowl. It's a bunch of new players who used to playing with Jameis Winston. The only person that came in that building in the Tampa Bay Bucks uniform ready to rock out was Tom Brady. This routine to him. You know what I'm saying? You got guys dropping 50-yard bombs. You know what I mean? The only people that are used to it is Tom Brady, Gronk, and AB, and look who showed up. They're going to school the rest of these dudes. They're going to bring these dudes along. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, I mean, the only game I see them losing is the game to the Eagles. I think they're going to mop the floor with everybody else.
There you go. There you go. Hey, shout out to Cow Bunny with the $4.99 super chat. He said, can't listen to Jody Mack and John McMullen. Rather listen to two goats talk. Shout out to you, Cal Bundy. Hey, yeah, yo. I mean, it's crazy though. Now you got these guys having podcasts too. Now, like the John McMullins and the Jody Mack. They more power to them. You know what I mean? But
I don't even know who they are.
They're like one of them is still a beat writer for the Eagles, and one's like an ex beat writer. And now they have their own YouTube podcasting going on. Where they,
listen, I'm on record saying this, Mike, man. Them dudes watch us. It's been many a times where I heard something that I said, you said, or Philly 500 say end up on ESPN. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's a video 3 days old on that.
Facts. But taking it back to the Atlanta Falcons real quick, what do you want to see in the first scripted drive if Nick Sirianni's going to have that? Because a lot of coaches have a little scripted first drive. Mm-hmm. What do you want to see out of this starting group and Nick Sirianni marching down the field first drive?
In the first drive of this game, it's a couple things I want to see that I think I'll be happy with. I know I can't get all of them. I ain't going to lie. I want to see a deep shot to Quez. I want to see a deep shot to Quez in the first drive. Just test the waters. Let everybody know that this dude Jalen got the cannon off the rip because he could throw it. I want to see the deep ball to Quez, and I want to see some play action. You know what I mean? Just to keep it brief, I want to see some play action, and of course, you want to set the play action up with the run. But I want to see play action or in a deep ball to Quez. What you trying to see?
Yeah, definitely. I want them to open it up with a couple runs. Hopefully, Miles Sanders does got that burst. If you open up the first run and it's like 5 to 7 yards, I think you want to run it a couple more times. And I would like to see the first deep ball shot off the play action, off a nice play action. Jalen Hurts rolls to his right. Not saying it has to be the exact play like he hit Deshaun Jackson in the Cowboys game, but something of that magnitude where he rolls to his right and he lets Quez get deep, because I do believe he got a cannon. And Quez is that dude that you can kind of just throw it farther, and it's either going to be Quez getting it or nobody, because he's going to be the one to run under it, not no AJ Terrell in his second year. None of them guys are going to be able to run under that.
What I don't want to see is a bunch of bubble screens and like quick reads. I don't want to see that. I want to see you throwing the ball beyond the sticks. I want to see you going out there and trying to move the chains. You know what I mean? I want to see it.
Quez got a 70-something yard touchdown with a wide
receiver
screen. Well, here's the thing too. Some of them little quick passes are like rhythm throws, get Jalen feeling good. But this is the perfect opportunity because of how bad their defensive line is. They were tied for 23rd in sacks. So there was only 8. There was only like a couple teams that got less sacks than them, I should say. And they were 24th in pressure. So we're going into this game with our offensive line being the healthiest it's ever going to be. I'm not saying we're going to be banged up, but we're going into it as healthy as we can be. Week 1, they're all there. Malata, Seamalu, Kelsey, Brooks, Lane. You're talking about a D-line that gets 24th overall pressure. Jalen Hurts is going to be able to stay in the pocket. And that is the biggest critique I hear everybody saying. His consistency passing, he's going to want to run. He's not going to want to win from the pocket. This is the game. And I believe he's going to have a big game. I think it's going to be, this is a hot take, but it's not like overboard. He's going to go for 300 plus.
That's light. He does that though. He got more 300-yard passing games than Daniel Jones. Like we talk about a good football player here. That's why the hate is so unwarranted to me, man. We talking about a good football player here. The I hate Jalen Hurts campaign is so strong. You got Oklahoma fans. Bad Dog is an Oklahoma Sooners fan. I work with Bad Dog all the time. Oklahoma Sooners fan. You got Oklahoma Sooner fans telling him he can't throw. They will not be like he was 70% there. What are we talking about? You're a fan of this team. He was 70% there. Oh, because of CD Lamb. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. It's always an excuse for this man's success. It's always an excuse. You know what I mean? It's always an excuse, man. But I think I think 300 yards passing is doable. If you don't get 300 yards passing, he's gonna be like 250 something and 100 yards rushing on the ground. You know what I mean? I just feel like you're talking about a real, true dual threat here, man. A real, true dual threat.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that's why I wouldn't be mad if he didn't get 300 because of all the other things he can provide.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna have an easy day, man. I think he's gonna have an easy day. He might be rusty. He might have one possession where he's a little rusty. I think once everything settles down, I just think it's gonna be muscle memory for him, man. It's gonna be muscle memory for him. Their defensive line is so bad they almost have to blitz to get pressure. They have to blitz to get pressure. The Philadelphia Eagles could literally come out with a game plan like this. We're going to run the ball up their throat with Miles and Kenneth Gainwell. We could physically overpower this defensive line at any given moment. So I expect us to be able to run the ball at will on this team.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. Looking at Atlanta last year, once you get past the top 3 or 4 run defenses, everybody else is kind of close, but they did rank 6th in run defense. They only allowed around 103 yards, which is still a lot. It's a decent amount, but then you got guys like the Dallas Cowboys who were like $170 per game. But my thing is, I don't think they have the necessary tools to stop the run. I just think people saw how vulnerable their secondary was and just opted to pass more on them than run. Because when I look down the roster, I don't see too many run stoppers, but they did rank 6th. So, like I said, this game is set up for a Jalen Hurts game. But because we have the playmakers at the running back who might not grind it out, they're not going to grind the ball down. But you got Miles Sanders, a guy who had 3 rushes for over 3 touchdowns, over 70 plus yards. That's explosive.
They're very explosive.
The mixture of him and Kenneth Gainwell is only going to feed into what Jalen Hurts can do with the play action. But I do got a couple questions about this tight end for you real quick before we get to the super chat. Drew Johnson with the $5 super chat. Sup with you guys. I was with you guys taking a shot, but I want to establish an identity and impose our will. I think he's talking about that run game.
Yeah, when he was like, I was with you guys taking a shot, I was like, well, you about to take some shots? What you talking about?
Yeah, you didn't pour us one real quick. Right. You know what I mean? But listen, so of course, Dallas Goedert, no contract talk. Zach Ertz, is this his last year? Let me just ask you this. Do you think it's a big deal when you look at these tea leaves real quick before we get back to the Atlanta Falcons talk? Mm-hmm. There's rumors coming out that Dallas Goedert was in trade talks to Minnesota, but they couldn't get right with the asking price. Then a couple days later, Zach Ertz opens up about how much he loves to be here and he wants to stay here. And then another couple days later, contract talks that went all the way back to June suddenly stall. So when you look at the tea leaves on the trade block, Zach Ertz is back being happy. Do you see a scenario where they choose Ertz over Goddard?
Yeah, I do. And I wouldn't be mad if they did. Show Zach Ertz his respect. I think somebody in that building finally woke up and decided to show him some respect. You can't abandon Zach Ertz because Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson looked how they looked last season. How is it somehow Zach Ertz's fault? Was Zach Ertz supposed to come in and save the day? Carson Wentz was atrocious. Zach Ertz is a man who's broken his ribs for this city. You know what I mean? How is Zach Ertz not paid? How is he not under contract? You know what I mean? I think it makes more sense. And I think Zach Ertz will probably be cheaper than Dallas Goedert anyway. I think he'll probably be cheaper than Dallas Goedert. You know, Dallas Goedert, a lot of people hail him as a top 10 tight end. I mean, I see the realistic outcome is that the Philadelphia Eagles will keep both of them. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to end up keeping both of them.
You would have to pay them both though next year. Something.
Yeah, you would have to do something. Somebody gonna get a. You're not gonna franchise tag a tight end to keep two tight ends. You're just gonna bail. I mean, yeah, that's that. I don't know how it's gonna shake, but as of right
Yeah.
now, you know what I mean. Well, one thing, a lot of people were saying about it was they're keeping Zach Ertz during the season so they can still be able to trade him. That's one thing a lot of people were saying, but I don't know about that, man. Let me ask you something though, yo. What do you expect from this defense against Matt Ryan? What do you expect
I think
overall from this defense?
overall, I think it's going to be. I think a lot of people are expecting Atlanta to drop 24 plus on us. I don't see them going over 24. That's where I got them capped. I think what Matt Ryan is going to try to do is get the ball out of his hand fast. But with this new upgraded secondary, Jonathan Gannon not being a guy who's stuck in his ways and is going to see that. Even if the first drive is like bang, bang, boom, boom, I think he's getting the next huddle. He's going to be like, yo, step up a little bit. Ridley's a dog, but as long as you have a safety over top, I ain't mad if Slay presses up. I want to see 3-4 plus sacks this game, which is going to set the tone. Matt Ryan is a statue there, but he's been around. He's seen a lot of coverages. If you're not going to disguise it right, he's going to be the guy to be able to get the ball out of his hand fast. And he does got the weapons. Kyle Pitts, the only play he did in the preseason was a little 2-yard pass that he took like 30 yards. So he got the yak guys. Ridley, Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts. Let's not forget about Hayden Hurst, which they're going to use him a little bit more as their blocking tight end, but he can catch. I just need to see defenses that are up against the line of scrimmage so he can't take that quick pass, that check down and go mano a mano. You heard what Arthur Smith said. Hey, rookie, it's time to get baptized. Fletcher Cox is going to be there. Brandon Graham, the rotation. Listen, last year we had a worse secondary and a more banged up, less deep defensive line, and we were fourth in pressures and third in sacks.
And we weren't getting no turnovers.
And we weren't blitzing like you were saying. What I think you meant to say. Now you got different packages, a healthier, deeper rotation, and people keep saying, "Why do you keep talking about the secondary?" Because it matters. If the secondary is playing good defense, Matt Ryan has to hold the ball for one more second. One more second is a lifetime in the NFL when it comes to how many seconds a quarterback should have. So it's going to be big. And that's why I was arguing when I had, I was talking to Ed Oliver, the real Ed Oliver, and he was trying to tell me, and I had the Giants, Chris the Entertainer, agree with him. They're all like, yeah, Washington got the better D-line. I said, listen, I'll give you Washington D-line better than ours if you're talking about the next 5 years because they're younger. We're talking about 1 year. We had more sacks than them. They had a better secondary than us. All this is going to come together.
And they blitzed more. And the defense blitzed more, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm holding it down. We're going to have a top 3 defensive line, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're 1 or 2. I know we're going to be ahead of Washington.
Yeah, I agree. I agree as well, man. One of the things I want to see from the defense, I just want to see aggressiveness, man. And I want to see some turnovers, man. Knock some balls loose, man. I want to see dudes playing close up on dudes, man. I want to see tight, suffocating coverage. I don't want to see a lot of space and all this bump and run. I want to see it, man. I want to see aggressiveness, man. You know what I mean? It's been too many years now, about 4 years in a row, where the Philadelphia Eagles defense is on the field and dudes appear to be wide open. Like, I don't want to see that no more. You know what I mean? I want to see that no more. And I think Slay and Steven Nelson, I think they're going to be much, much better. I think our secondaries are much better. And I think we're going to blitz more, and that's going to create more turnovers for us. So I can't wait to see this defense on the field as well. I'm just glad that Eagles football is back. I'm glad that Eagles football is back, and week 1 is here, and we're just about to shut a lot of people up, man.
Yeah, and it's not only are we going to blitz and send an extra guy, it's how we're going to do it. I think you're going to see stunts, not only from the linebacker position, because when you talk about blitz, you're sending an extra guy. Is it a corner? Is it a safety? Is it a linebacker? That's cool. Where are they coming from? In the middle, on the side, to the left, to the right. But I like when you got guys like Fletcher Cox, who's a bigger dude, but he's still nimble. When you do stunts with your D tackle and your defensive end, it confuses the offensive line, especially when you're a rookie. See, one thing is when a guy is not been in the league this long, but he's physically talented, like Jordan Mailata, when he first came in, he got beat up a little bit with the stunts because if the defensive end in front of him tries to just manhandle him, he's going to use that 6'8", 350-pound body and nimbleness to just one-on-one, I got you. But when he first got into the league and he came in for a couple snaps and they were doing stunts and he's like, hold up, which way? And in that 1 second where he's like, oh, I don't got to get this guy. I got to get this guy. No, I got to get this guy. Now he can't use everything that is naturally. He got to use his mind. And I think you can trick a young offensive line like that. And that's why Aaron Donald's so dominant. This dude plays in the inside, outside, stunts. He just moves around. And I'm not saying Fletcher's him, but you can use Fletch like that. You definitely can.
You can. I agree. I already feel like that the Atlanta Falcons are going to double team Fletcher Cox. They're not going to put that rookie out there by himself. They're going to double team Fletcher Cox. So Javon Hargrave, he definitely got to eat in this game. I think this should be a statement game for him. We made him the highest paid nose tackle in the game last year. You know what I mean? He gotta, defensive tackle, he gotta go out there and he gotta do what he's supposed to do, man. Somebody gotta eat, man. Somebody gotta start capitalizing off of all the attention that Fletcher Cox gets. And I think this is the perfect game with that rookie. I also want to see, this game is going to show me exactly how smart JG is. JG got to bring all the blitzes to that rookie side. He got to destroy that side. That side of that offensive line got to get this work. I think Atlanta, when they do try to run, they're not even going to run to that rookie side. They're going to try to do whatever they can to keep the pressure from off that side of the offensive line. So I want to see us expose that. Good teams do that. You saw the Buccaneers 8-35 in the game now. Oh, you seen Dallas? They got a good offense. 35 in the game now. Let's get right at him. Let's get right at him. It's a rookie out here. Get right at him.
I agree. You definitely got to take your mismatches and expose them. And that's why you mentioned this before in one of your videos too. And I agree. Kyle Pitts line up as a blocker, eat him. Like, listen, the dude is fast. He's good, but he's not blocking the defensive end in the NFL yet. That was one of his knocks, is he's a little bit light on the blocking. So attack him. Definitely attack him. Shout out to Dave though with the $5 super chat. I'm waiting to see Mulata manhandle that D line. Listen. It's a soft D line. They got one guy, I think it's Grady James Grady James. He's good, but not enough to change the complexion. But since we're on our D line, who do you got having a bigger year? Because low key people talk about Derek Barnett in a contract year, but so is Josh Sweat, because Josh Sweat was a 4th round pick, and so 4th round picks don't get that 5th year option. Sweat came 1 year after Derek Barnett. But he got 4 years before he gets paid, and Barnett got 5. So one of them is, are we going to pay both? Or are we going to pay one? But who's going to have the breakout year, Barnett or Sweat?
Sweat. I think I don't know. And Barnett is good. That's what's crazy. Barnett is good, but I think Sweat is like
a grinder.
Mailata. He's like, what other gems have we just found out of nowhere? Sweat is an absolute gem, and Sweat, the motor on Sweat is ridiculous. Now, I will say this: who's going to start? Is Derek Barnett going to start, and Sweat is going to be rotational?
The last time I heard, I thought Sweat edged him out. I haven't heard much. I haven't looked at a full depth chart, but the last time I heard, Sweat was getting the first team reps. And you're right. Derek Barnett is immensely talented.
Yeah.
The problem I have with him is sometimes his attitude don't look right. And sometimes he makes them bonehead plays where, it's hard to change how you play, but he goes at players' legs a little bit. It's a newish rule, but he gets penalized the most, to me, on that defensive line. And then the injury bug. So I feel like every time he strings 2 games together good, he got to miss a game. And so that's what's been holding him back. But he's so young. He came into the league, I think he's only 24 still.
Damn.
He came into the league very young. I think he came into the league at 20.
Yeah, we definitely got some decisions to make this offseason, man, because I think he's already getting $10 million this year, right?
Oh, yeah, Barnett's getting $10 million.
Yeah, Barnett is already getting $10 million, so they thought that highly of him to give it one more go to see if they wanted to offer him, a contract. But listen, man, it's a lot of mouths that's trying to get fed on that defensive side of the ball. We're not talking really a lot about Ryan Kerrigan, but come on, man, we got the Washington football team's all-time leading sack leader. The all-time leading tackle for loss guy. We got that guy right here. Everybody want to talk about Chase Young this, Chase Young that. Look at I can't stand when they do it. Look at Chase Young rookie numbers and look at Kerrigan rookie numbers. Identical. Don't tell me Chase Young is no generational talent. You got to first convince me that he's going to be a better a better lineman than Ryan Kerrigan was for that franchise. Chase Young might not be as good as Ryan Kerrigan, and he
And
gonna have
let's
to.
not forget.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And let's not forget, Ryan Kerrigan did more. He played linebacker for them too. So I
Exactly.
mean, he did drop back in coverage sometime in Chase Young's career. He's never going to be asked to drop back in coverage. He's only going to be a blitzing
Right.
guy. So yeah, Kerrigan is low key great, and he had 5 sacks in a limited role, and that's all we want from him. If he gets us 5 to 6 sacks in another limited role, I
Hmm.
think it's great. And my whole thing is, I think we're going to end up keeping Barnett and Sweat for the simple fact, let's be honest, BG and Kerrigan are up there. If they have a couple more years, I think you can eventually, when you are fully ready to move off of Graham and Kerrigan, now you have your 2 bookends in Barnett and Sweat, and then you backload some other talent, and hopefully you get a gem or 2, depending on where you draft, because the Eagles value the trenches. You saw what we did with Alien and
Yeah, I
Dickerson in
think.
the second round,
Yeah,
and they'll go get some more talent in the second, third, maybe even first round, depending on who's out there on both sides
I
of the
think
trenches.
and I think that's how Howie Roseman's looking at it. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense to keep them both while your other guys are getting up there in age. What do you think about the linebacking group? I'm not going to lie, I wasn't nervous about it at first, but I am beginning to get nervous because the way I saw Micah Parsons looking lost yesterday, like he was in the grocery store, just turning all over the place. He in the rice aisle looking for the milk. He didn't know where he was at yesterday, bro. And I feel like that, and he's talented. I feel like our linebackers going to have to be real disciplined, real fast. I'm worried about them, man. I'm worried about the linebackers because our linebackers might end up having to cover Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Eric Wilson is I think the best equipped to do that. But I think what we should do with Kyle Pitts is mix and match. I think you got to throw Anthony Harris on him at some times. You got to throw Eric Wilson on him sometimes. I'm not even mad once in a while if they're in a package where you slide a guy like Steven Nelson. He's smaller, but he can bother him. But whenever you have a guy like Steven Nelson on him, you're going to bracket him with another linebacker who's a bigger body guy.
Yeah.
And of course, Avonte Maddox does not belong on the outside, but in certain packages where you see Kyle Pitts maybe spread out as a wide receiver, I wouldn't be mad then saying, Avonte, go get Russell Gage for that play only. But JG plays predominantly a zone defense. He'll play some man. He'll play some cover 2 under where it's man/zone. I don't think we're going to ask our linebackers to do what Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is thinking too highly of Micah Parsons as a defensive weapon. This dude is a great player from side to side, getting running backs, and he's great at blitzing. But he's never. Philly Fresh is a diehard Penn State fan, and he said, I would love to draft Micah Parsons, but the dude is not covering like people say he can. Just
Not. They're
because you're
lying.
fast.
They're making it up. A lot of people are saying they're making it up. They're making it up. Micah Parsons, and I wanted Micah Parsons. I wanted to draft him. The truth, this because our linebackers have been so bad. He's great at one thing. He's great at just like going for it. If that makes any sense, like he has like a crash dummy type of style. If it's a play action play, he's shooting that gap, head on collision.
Everywhere.
Yeah, head on collision. He's definitely everywhere. But if it's not a run, and it's a play action play, you know what I'm saying? And he's just lost after that. Once his first instinct is to shoot the gap and make a tackle. When there's nobody to tackle, he just start looking all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And Tom Brady, yeah.
As you said, when he had that whole, merry-go-round, do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around thing, that's what he did. He faked like he was going to blitz and try to use his speed to get back in the gap underneath Chris Godwin, and he was just too slow, and he didn't know where the play was going.
Yeah, I don't know if he thought he was still at Penn State or what. Then he got mossed by Leonard Fournette, so he can't cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, he got the speed to run with a decently fast wide receiver or tight end, but you still got to finish. You got to be able to turn your hips. You got to be able to locate a ball. You got to be able to do all that stuff. And he might develop it because he's so talented. And now he has NFL coaches, teaching him up. I'm not saying in 2 or 3 years, but they were acting like, I saw a clip. They were like, man, he was right stride for stride with CeeDee Lamb, and he was playing. No, he's not going to cover like that. And he got exposed yesterday. And I think our linebackers are not going to be given that type of workload. They're going to be really just the guys who I think we're going to blitz our linebackers a little bit more than definitely more than we've seen. And you're going to see linebackers pretty much be that underneath help to your safeties and your cornerbacks. Because when you play that cover 2, the corner's only going to have responsibility of like a half of a field, a segment of the field, and so that's where it gets a little bit suspect. But I don't think we're going to be in base a lot. We're not going to keep three linebackers on. You're going to see a lot of Alex Singleton and Eric Wilson, which is our best fit for this passing league that we're going to come into in 2021. That is still the weakest link of our team. Whether you like Alex Singleton's hustle, his flow, we're banking off what we saw Eric Wilson did with the Vikings. He was the only player in the NFL with 120 plus tackles, with 2 or 3 sacks and 2 or 3 picks, just because of his versatility. But where he's great against the pass, he does lack in the run. But I'm not really worried about the run, because I think our D-line not playing the wide 9 is going to be more pinched to get that up the middle running back that's been killing us all preseason, though. For real, for real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it has been. I want to talk about some concerns. Another concern that I have right now. I really have a strong concern about the depth, man. The defensive depth. I feel like if Fletcher Cox is done, I feel like the defense is done for some reason. Like, I didn't really like what I saw out of the guys that's coming in behind Fletcher Cox and behind Javon Hargrave. I think we need to probably be looking at getting some more talent on this football team, man. We're just not deep on the defensive side of the ball. You lose every game in this NFL from what I've seen from preseason. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe these guys prove me wrong. But if you're coming out there starting Milton Williams and somebody else, you lose this game. If Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are both out for the same game, what do you really do? What do you really do? Are you confident in something like that? And I think that's my only concern right now is the linebacking core. And just the depth on the defensive side of the ball. Other than that, man, I'm just if everybody stay healthy every game this season, I don't think nobody really going to be able to blow us out. Now, I'm not going to say we win in every game, but we ain't getting blown out.
Nah. Real quick, shout out to the Nets out west. He said, much respect from the Nets out west to you too. Milton Williams will have more sacks than Barnett this year. Remember our bet, Mike? I remember the bet. So listen, I love Milton Williams to death, but the dude's going to be playing and he'll probably have 25 snaps total in the first 4 games. No, thank you.
I don't know. Milton Williams is he good? He might not even get more snaps than Barnett, so it's going to be tough to do.
It's going to be. I mean, hey, more power to you if you beat me. But listen, I'll send you my cash app soon enough. But listen, to your point about the depth, here's my whole take on it. The Eagles' depth looked really crappy when it was all depth out there. My whole thing is this: Fletcher Cox is a different type of animal. He's one of them unreplaceable players. Like, if Aaron, he's one of them unreplaceable guys. He's like, you're going to take a huge hit. There's no one that's going to be able to come in and fill his shoes because of everything he does. And people still hate on him because he's not the prettiest sacker. And I understand, I want his pass rushing ability to be better, but he's a one-man band when it comes to the run defense. He takes care of it for us. However, here's my thing. This is what I said on my videos. If we have to take one defensive lineman out and put one of them rotation pieces in that got beat up in the preseason, but now he looks to his left and he got Fletch. He looks to his right, he got BG. His game's going to be better. Like the same way with our offensive line. If just one of them has to go out, say Isaac Seumalo, you know what I mean? And he or even just say Brandon Brooks has to miss one game because he's one of them guys who's susceptible to missing the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now you put Herbig in there. And Herbig is like a fringe good, but now Herbig looks to his left, he got Kelsey. He looks to his right, he got Lane. It's going to be better. And same thing with the secondary and linebackers. I just think when you put the whole depth out there, we were just getting a little bit too crazy. Because let's be honest, there's not many teams. There's probably every team in the NFL you can go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they just won the Super Bowl. One corner went out, one safety went out, and they were looking suspect. So there's the thing is, the healthiest teams are the teams that finish. So you're never going to go through a season 100% healthy. But if the Eagles can stay 90, if we can bring 90% of the roster through the season, a couple people miss a game here, there, nothing major, I feel good. And people expect you to predict your record and stuff. With account for injuries. No, I'm looking at my roster right now, and this is what I'm telling you. Who knows what happens tomorrow? I can't promise you that. But right now, they really sleeping on our core pieces, which is the defensive line and offensive line. And we've had problems in the past, but this is a different regime. I don't want to blame the injuries on Doug. I love Doug because he got us a ring. But it's funny though, like his era has been full of injuries, and it was successful, but full of injuries. Chip Kelly wasn't, Andy Reid wasn't, and I'm hopefully we just get off that injury bug era
I think so.
with
I think so
health.
too. I think a lot of the problem with that was there was a lot of skill players getting injured. Like it's hard to replace Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. You know what I mean? You gotta bring in practice squad guys. It's hard to replace certain guys. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah,
right about that, man. If you can mask, some depth, if you can mix some depth with some starters, you should be good. You know what I mean? I really wanted to see Davion Teller though, man. That's what I
I
really wanted to
know.
see, man. I really wanted to see Davion Teller. You know what I mean? And it doesn't look like Sean Bradley is, like I'm not gonna say not developing, but I wanted them to kind of be like, starting by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But we'll
agree, and I
see.
think Davion Taylor had the path to really work and get maybe
Hmm.
Alex Singleton's minutes, maybe even some Eric Wilson's, who's not. But then again, an injury came through. He's healthy now, but you lose that time to earn the coach's respect when you already had it, and we got no time to play around because that's the one thing the Eagles do. We are in. No matter what we say, we're in some type of retooling because of the new coach, new quarterback. When you have
Yep.
that it's evident. But we retool better than anybody in the NFL. We never stay down for long. It's just what Philly does. But real quick, shout out to Joe Eagle 56 with the $10 super chat. You guys keep it a buck with your research and your in-depth knowledge of the team. Mainstream media repeats what they heard or goes by last year. Their reporting is lazy and
Very
shallow. I
lazy,
agree.
very lazy, very lazy. Just like the national thing to do is to say the Philadelphia Eagles going to win 4 to 5 games. Come on, the team ain't even the same. Nothing about the team is the same. So what's the same? What was our biggest issue last year? An unhealthy offensive line and the quarterback who was just standing there looking for the blitz to hit him like a train in the tunnel. We ain't got the quarterback no more doing that, and the offensive line back healthy. And then you add the Heisman winner. And then you bring back Zach Ertz and keep Dallas Goddard at the same time. Come on, what are we talking about here? Then
Yeah.
you still got Miles Sanders and your trenches. Come on. I can go on and on about the positives that this team has done in the offseason, man. This team will not win no 5 games. Come
Yeah.
on. And the disrespect. You add an extra game on the schedule and you still say we're only going to win 4 or 5.
Yeah,
The disrespect.
yeah. You can't even give us the extra game. But here's one thing I wanted to ask you earlier too. So I think Nick Sirianni, if it's a perfect world, he wants to run more 11-man personnel. I think that Nick Sirianni thought, like, I'm talking about when he first got in here, this is like before training camp when he was like, fixating on stuff and seeing training camp. I think he thought low key that Zach Ertz wasn't going to be here because that was the narrative getting pushed out there. Do you think it's in our best interest to use more personnel? And do you think we will be not as heavy as Doug, because that was dang near like almost 50%, it was like 40 something percent. But do you think 12 personnel will be heavily used? And do you want it to be? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to this. You want to get your best players on the field. And
Mhm.
what receiver do you think is better than a Goddard or Ertz in certain packages, in certain areas of the field?
I think that having Zach Ertz and Dallas Goddard on the field at the same time around the red zone is going to be a problem. I don't know how well Jalen Hurts likes to throw the tight ends right now. That remains to be seen. But Carson Wentz used the tight ends in the red zone like nobody else did. I will say this though: I think Jalen Hurts is really throwing these tight ends wide receiver routes from the practices that I saw. They're just not going up the seam or going into the flats. These dudes are running routes. And I think
Yeah.
they're weapons. They add to what everybody thinks we don't have. If Jalen Rager doesn't do anything, your tight ends are definitely still going to eat. You know what I'm saying? So I think you can use these guys up and down the field. Now, the ideal offense or the ideal package for me, honestly, will always to be playing Zach Ertz and Dallas Goddard at the same time. Why not? Why not?
It definitely hurt your speed, but again, it depends on really what Rager shows. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, or Quez, we're high on Quez now because what we saw in the uh I read a comment. See, I try not to do that when I'm talking because it'd be crazy sometimes. We saw what he did in the training camp and in the preseason, but still being consistent. And I'm not trying to poo-poo Quest because I think he's going to be great. But we know what Dallas Goddard and Zach Ertz can do. We do. And
Mhm.
so when you try to get your best players, if I just say pass catchers, it's going to be Devontae Smith, and then it might be Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert before any of our receivers. And that's why I think Nick Sirianni is going to factor that in. Although he loves speed, will never be as heavy as Doug was, like almost 48. But I can see we're going to be using it maybe 28, 32% of the time, which is still less. But I do think
I
we're going to
agree.
also implement that two-back set. And my biggest thing to you is game one, how big of a role does Kenneth Gainwell have?
I think Kenneth Gainwell. See, the coaches know what they have in Kenneth Gainwell. It's kind of hard to say because just to go back to your thing about the packages, if you run both tight ends with Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield and Quez Watkins on the outside or in the slot, I feel like you still kind of balance out the speed with the slowness. You still got some speed. You still got some short-handed big guys on the field at the same time. I think Kenneth Gainwell can eat a multitude of ways week one. I think if you really want to, that's a tough one, man. Are we throwing the ball to Kenneth Gainwell? That's a good fucking question. That's a good question. He's going to have a role. I just don't know how big of a role it's going to be. He's going to get some carries. Ideally, I think a good first game for a guy like Kenneth Gainwell will probably be like 6 carries and line him up in the outside a couple of times because he's not the RB2. I can't expect him to get 10 carries, 11 carries. So 6 carries means, he's going to take that spot next year if he gets 6 carries a game as a third running back.
I had it today when I was talking to somebody. I want him to get 9 touches, whether that's 5 carries and 4, passes. And if he drops it, he drops it. It's still a target. It's not a full touch, but it's us trying to get him involved. But I do think he's gonna come out from the grip being involved in the offense for the simple fact we gotta utilize Jalen Hurts' legs. No ifs, and or buts about it. Whether we believe he's a great passer, whether we believe he needs to work on his passing, he got footwork. He got that. What do you call it? He gets freaky. You know what I mean? That's what he said in the beginning. And so you got to utilize that. And when the defense is lined up and they see 2 running backs in Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders put on tape that he can take any rock to the house 70 yards multiple times. Kenneth Gainwell in Memphis, was one of them guys who had like 100 receiving and over 100 receiving and 100 rushing in a game. So they're explosive. And then you got Jalen Hurts, who's not afraid to take a little hit and running behind guys. Now, when you run your quarterback, you got an extra blocker because now it's can't talk today. Physically 11 on 11 and not 10 on 11 because your quarterback is sitting there. And so whether you think, oh man, we're doing too many running plays with him. If it's successful, it's successful. Yeah. Because once they start, let's get some bigger packages in to stop Jalen Hurts' legs. Well, then you got the middle of the field open for Goddard, Smith, Rager, Quez, and I just think you got to utilize all that because Lamar Jackson has games where it's like run, and then boom, someone's open over the top because they're just out of their element. And I don't care if we're not the standard drop back quarterback. At the end of the day, a win is a win. Sometimes Lamar does it a little off script, but let's get wins. And then as the season's going, as Jalen Hurts grows as a quarterback, because he's still a young man, we'll get all that other stuff in. And I do believe the one thing that people are counting out of Jalen Hurts, whether you do believe he's not the greatest passer or is a great passer, he has that it factor. And I want the ball in his hand in crunch time. He does have that it factor. He can see it in his eyes, in his demeanor, and all that stuff.
I mean, the preparation goes a long way. Of course, he was going to be voted as team captain. But, the way everybody's speaking about him in the locker room, you could tell it's genuine. These players are supposed to say, oh, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's that quarterback that's going to take us to the promised land. But you can see it's genuine when it's coming from the Philadelphia Eagles players. I feel like that, Jalen Hurts is a natural born leader. I feel like Jalen Hurts, takes preparation serious. I feel like Jalen Hurts, what really impressed me about Jalen Hurts when he was walking the halls of the facilities and quizzing guys on which routes they're supposed to run. That's next level. That's how Tom Brady's approach to the game is. You know what I mean? That is an approach to the game of somebody that wants to prove everybody wrong. And these guys and these guys in our division, these fans of the Washington football team, the New York Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I give you Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in his division. But if you want me to sit here and scoff at the idea of Jalen Hurts being better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, you got to be kidding me, bro. You got to be kidding me. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a bum. He's a bum. He's a
Yeah.
bum. You know what I mean? And we going to act like we forgot that? And we going to say Jalen Hurts is lower than that? You got to be kidding me. Daniel Jones is a bum. These are guys who I view as bums. My quarterback is not a bum, and he's going to win more games than both of them guys, man.
Hey,
Cut it out.
yeah,
Cut it out.
and I agree. And again, the rebuttal is going to be like, we don't know what Hurts is, and we don't fully know. But his worst games last year and his best games last year, I will take that right now over a Fitzpatrick who's already capped out, and a
Exactly.
Daniel Jones who crapped out. You know what I mean? You got one
Yeah.
capped out, one crapped out, and yeah, Hurts looked bad. Hurts looked really bad one game, and that was a Dallas game. Everyone else, there was some suspect things, but he turned it around each game. Even the
But
Washington
think about
game,
it.
he did it with his legs. Daniel Jones put multiple games of that caliber, or even worse than what he did against Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But think about it, though. You asking a rookie to come in who didn't have any offseason
In a
with
bad
no
situation.
right, with no primary weapon on the outside. Deshaun Jackson and all of them guys, I mean, never played at all. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line was in shambles. He came out and we were when before Jalen Hurts came into the fold, we was a 17-point a game team. It was brutal to watch. It was brutal to watch. Jalen Hurts came in and start putting up numbers, throwing 300 yards. Chains were moving. You know what I'm saying? 80-yard bombs was coming back. It's just a different level of confidence and a different level of, just different dimensions that he brings to the game with his legs and his arm. And he's way more accurate than people want to give him credit for.
Yeah, he's what I will agree with is the consistent easy throws. This is how I view Jalen Hurts. He's going to throw a beautiful ball in a tight coverage. You're going to be like, how did he do that? And then once in a while, he might miss something easy once in a while, but that is going to get worked out over learning the scheme, over being an NFL quarterback for more than 4 games. And here's my biggest thing when people say about Hurts. Well, let's look at when Daniel Jones was very bad last year, and let's see what's returning. The whole coaching staff is returning. Most of his offensive line is there. Most of his skill players are there. He did add a sprinkle of wide receivers and a running back. Okay, let's look at Jalen Hurts as a rookie with no with COVID, with no offseason.
Facts.
In a situation where why ain't his coaches returning? Oh, I forgot. They lost their jobs. Why was he not the starting quarterback? Oh, because the guy there lost his job. How many guys were blocking in front of him last year will be blocking for him game 1? One player, Kelsey. You know what I mean? Well, Mulata's there too. You know what I mean? How many receivers were there for him last year that won't be here this year? A lot of them. That just goes to show how many people lost their jobs, but there was one person who stayed. You know what I mean? And so how are we going to judge Jalen Hurts, who has to rely on people who couldn't keep their job? You know what I mean?
I'm judging him. Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing. When you really look at this Eagles team, it was really hard for me to judge Jalen Reagor, Jalen Hurts. It was really hard for me to judge any individual performance because there was a lot of give up attitude behind Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, the organization, the drama, and the injuries. So I can't assess anybody. And if you take any established quarterback in the NFL, I'm not saying they would have been as bad as Jalen, but they weren't going to, whatever team, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't look like Aaron Rodgers on the Eagles. Would he be better than Jalen Hurts? Of course, but he wouldn't be the MVP on the Eagles
exactly.
team.
So he would struggle.
Disgusting situation. It was disgusting. It was toxic, and that's all out the window.
Yeah, I've never seen the Philadelphia Eagles back somebody the way they back in Jalen Hurts. The only thing that they can do, honestly, that would show me that they're like an organization who not standing behind him is trade him at this point. You passed on Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? You passed on Justin Fields to get a weapon for him that he played with in college. Come on. Come
Yeah.
on, they already they did more for Jalen Hurts than they did for Carson Wentz. Now, to be fair, they tried. They did try with Carson. You
Yeah.
did bring in Jalen Rager. You decided no, you didn't try with Carson. You decided to go get Jalen Rager instead of Justin Jefferson. You decided to get
Yeah.
Jalen Rager for Carson Wentz instead of Justin Jefferson. But that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? But you go in, your first two picks are a wide receiver and an offensive tackle from Alabama. You know what I mean? From a school you play for. That's the ultimate belief, man. The ultimate belief. They had the capital. They had everything to get Justin Fields if they wanted.
And
Everything.
if,
Didn't we jump in front of the Bears?
well, then we were already in front of the Bears. Yeah, we were in front of the Bears.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mac Jones was out there. It was a lot of quarterbacks still available if you didn't believe. But you signed Flacco and you kept your boy. Come on, man. They know something. They know something.
Yeah.
They made him the captain. They know something that the rest of the world don't know. This is one thing I'll tell you. Belichick wanted him. Everybody want to say he a bum. Bill Belichick wanted him.
Yeah. And again, like I said, at the end of the day, there was a boatload of chances for them to get a quarterback. Like you said, Fields and Mac Jones. They didn't. And Howie Roseman never drafted in his tenure as a Philadelphia Eagle a player from Alabama. And he gets two of them for his ex-Alabama / Oklahoma quarterback.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, there's always going to be this narrative over him because of the media. But it's up to Jalen Hurts to squash all that. And in a couple days, we're going to see that. And then we're going to go forward. But the demeanor, like when you look at the quarterback position, the most important thing is leadership, because you got to. Carson Wentz has talent, and we're going to see it probably come out in Indianapolis, but he couldn't control the opposite side, and it just didn't vibe with the city of Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts has given you no reason to not back him, and that's my biggest thing. You can tell me I gotta see something, but you should say I gotta see something with a smile on your face of excitement.
Exactly.
You shouldn't say I gotta see something and I know he's just trash, because if you just turn on the TV, they're just showing you how he's trash. You know what I mean? No, there's no reason why. He didn't give you not one reason.
And Eagles fans going into this season got to understand that it just don't pay. It just don't pay to be, to listen to everybody else. Use your own eyes. Use your own judgment. Look what's happening. Look at the smiles on the faces. Look at this, man. Zach Ertz smiling. Fletcher Cox smiling. They're having fun. Look at the Go Birds commercials, man. This is a different vibe and a different energy. This is a team that is behind the quarterback. Period. Behind the quarterback, period. I'm telling you, man, we could be looking at a dynamic duo, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, for a very, very, very long time. To say you don't like Jalen Hurts right now, if anybody's saying Jalen Hurts is trash right now, they hate him. Period.
Yeah.
Where's the proof at? Where's the proof and where's the evidence that he's trash? Where's the proof? Where's the proof and where's the evidence that he's trash? Somebody tell me how he's trash. Come on.
Exactly.
They can't do it. They can't do it.
And just to finish this up, we did see some things he has to work on last year, but people act like the Cardinals game didn't exist, which was all touch passes. They act like this.
Man, you got somebody is on some freak body in the chat, bro. He got to get him out of there.
Oh yeah, just get him out of it.
Get him out of there, yo.
That's the thing, though. No, they're getting him out of here. But remember, here's a low key on StreamYard. When they get him out, we still always see it. But they're out of there.
Oh, we see it. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. You gotta get him out of there. He is out of pocket.
Yeah, they be wild in here. Shout out to the over 300 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. And remember, episode 2, whether it's Friday, Saturday, pre-recorded, will be on LB's channel. And we'll be talking about the W going into the next W, hopefully. But like I said, Jalen Hurts, he has his opportunity. We don't care what other people think, because he knows that the guys in the locker room believe in him. And football's all about momentum and aura. And it's a different, like you said, the commercials, there's just so much pointing up for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it starts week 1 in ATL. Let's get a dub.
Facts. And at the end of the day, man, we're gonna see what's going on. We're gonna see how this thing pan out. But I think it's going to be a lot more laughter and a lot more cheers than it is anything sad this upcoming season. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be back at the top of the NFC East. That's my bold prediction. Dallas looked good. Dallas did look good, but they lost. They lost. They lost. I'd be scared if they pulled it out. They lost. And a loss like that, if you want to be for real, takes the air out of the building. You were so close. You were so close, you know what I mean? Hey man, Dallas look dangerous, but I ain't worrying about them, man. I ain't worrying about nothing, man. I ain't worrying about nothing, Mike.
I hear you. Ain't nobody can tell me nothing. For real, for real. But with that being said, we got an hour and 9 minutes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Greatly appreciate. Like I said, episode 2 on LB's channel. Hey, you want to do you did your keys to victory. I got mine out. Do you want your record prediction? I can't talk today. It's been a long Friday. I listen because I streamed that. I was fighting back and forth with Dallas Cowboys fans. I stayed up to like 1 o'clock in the morning last night, and I had to be up
Me
by
too,
5.
man. I was at work hurting. I was hurting today.
Me too.
I was hurting.
But go ahead and give us your score prediction. Go ahead. Now, go ahead.
My score prediction for this week, I got the Eagles 28-17. I got us 28-17.
28-17, a nice 11-piece. I got it a little closer. I got it 28-23. I said they're not going to score over 24. I got it 28-23. Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I just it just feels right. I feel we're going to score close to 30, but not quite 30. But I'm gonna stick with 28-17.
Hey, I'll take that. And from this game, you're really going to see that's when it's all going to come into fruition. Everything we've been kind of saying throughout the offseason, once it gets proven, there is going to be some things that we come away from like, we got to correct this. But at least we got the coaches that we believe when you physically see something wrong, they're going to address it. Because when we said, why you keep using them at punt returner? They kept doing it. Why are you not running the ball? They kept not doing it. Why are you not rolling them out? They kept not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This coaching staff, they said it as much as we make videos. They will adjust quarter by quarter, week by week, day by day. And so that is the first thing I'm expecting. If something looks bad, if there's a lot of good, but something looks bad, I'm expecting it to get changed quickly by week 2.
I think they're going to do it. I think Howie Roseman will absolutely have zero influence on personnel changes. If it was up to Howie Roseman, don't you think Andre Dillard will be starting? He was the number 1 pick.
Facts.
If it was up to Howie Roseman, you know what I'm saying? Don't you think Quez Watkins would still be developing? You know what I mean? This dude's getting promoted all over the place, and that would have never happened under the Doug Peterson regime. Never happened. Arthega Whiteside will probably be starting this season. He would be a starter this season and not a guy who barely made the roster. No, you know who'll be starting? I bet my bottom dollar it'll be Travis Fulgham if Doug Peterson and them was here. You know what I mean? And I'm not against that. It's just that give the job to the man that won the job. And I feel like that this coaching staff is already showing that. So I absolutely believe they're going to be adjusting on the fly.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So with that being said, this is episode 1 of Go Talk the podcast. Shout out to LB for the name and the thumbnail. You know what I mean? He got the hookup for the thumbnail. With that being said, we'll see you next Friday, Saturday on LB's channel.
Yes,
Until
sir.
next time, fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get the dub.
Let's get it.
Peace.